Destruction! Earth! Life forms detected! Exterminate!
I mean, Daleks don't have names, do they? But one of them said they were...
I am Dalek Thay, Dalek Sec, Dalek Just, Dalek-Caan.
So that's it. At last. The Cult of Skaro. I thought you were just a legend.
You have declared war upon the Cybermen. This is not war. This is pest control. I am a human Dalek.
Hello and welcome back to another entry in the archive of Islos. In today's video we'll finally be taking a look at another part of Dalek history, this being the Cult of Skaro, an elite organisation above and beyond the Emperor himself, designed to think as the enemy thinks, and the enemy is of course the rest of the universe. So what's their story? Let's find out. The Cult of Skaro were at first just 4 ordinary Daleks. Dalek Sec was the commander of the 7th Incursion Squad, sent to wipe out the remnants of the mechanoids, a task they were successful in. Dalek-Caan was an attack squad leader of the 30th Assault Group. Dalek Thay was the commandant of Station Alpha, the most secret of all Dalek research facilities. Dalek Jast was a force leader of the Outer Rim Defense Battalion. For their service, all 4 were promoted to become the Cult of Skaro. They were given their names, making them some of the only Daleks to have such an honour, and Dalek Sec was chosen to be their leader, now encased in black metalert. A different account suggested the cult may have been created during the Dalek-Movellan War, when the Daleks were struggling against the limits of their thinking. The Dalek rescue of Davros may have been of their design. By another account, the cult was created during the last Great Time War alongside groups such as the Eternity Circle and the Volatics Cabal, to match the imagination of the Time Lords. Though they were an elite order built to think as their enemies did in order to destroy them, their original purpose was to imagine new ways of survival. During the last Great Time War, they operated as a final strategic reserve. Looking into projections of the Doctor's future via the Matrix, the last Great Time War era Time Lords were made aware of the Cult of Skaro, despite their intelligence services having no information on the group, validating rumours about the Black Ops unit and how it had worked independent of the Emperor. The revelation of the cult created concerns about how far the Dalek Empire was willing to go to achieve victory, yet psyche evaluation teams also speculated that Daleks, like the group, thanks to their individuality, could be suggestible and reasoned with, undertaking research to try and find and identify these Daleks on Skaro. Foreseeing the invasion of Manhattan, the Time Lords saw Dalek Sec as the most open of the cult to new ideas, while the other 3 members defaulted to typical Dalek responses when faced with such options, and that the group's individuality could cause strife amongst them. Recognizing that the human Dalek Sec knew much about Dalek strategy while also being welcome to emotions, the military, despite seeing the node foretell Sec's death, sought permission from the High Council to extract the human Dalek from that moment in the timeline, hoping to recruit him. The Time Lords also became aware of Dalek-Caan's incursion into the war, and were alarmed by how a single bronze Dalek, even if it had enhanced mental capacity, was able to break through a time lock, and so began to investigate the matter. The cult created a sentient Dalek time machine, intended to infiltrate the ranks of TARDISes. Knowing that the Daleks could not win the war, the cult escaped into the space between universes, along with what they called the Genesis Ark, a piece of Time Lord technology. Having left the universe, they were not caught in the destruction of the Dalek fleet at the end of the war. They did, however, become aware of the fall of Gallifrey, believing the Genesis Ark to be all that survived of the Time Lord's homeworld. They spent all their time in the Void, thinking up new ways for the Dalek race to evolve. The Dalek Time Strategist was aware of the cult's location, and their importance to the Daleks' post-Time War history. The Torchwood Institute's meddling began to open a barrier to the Void which had been broken down by the cult's Void ship. Torchwood Tower, known to the public as Canary Wharf, had been built around the gap into the Void so that Torchwood 1 could study it and use its energy. When the Void ship opened, the cult exited and declared war, or what they referred to as pest control, against the Cybermen that had invaded Earth from Pete's world, leading to the Battle of Canary Wharf, while humanity was caught in the middle of the conflict. They then opened the Genesis Ark and released millions of Daleks onto London. All of these Daleks were sucked into the void along with the Cybermen, thanks to the 10th Doctor's intervention. The cult, however, managed to escape before being returned to the void by using an emergency temporal shift. They ended up in New York City in 1930. They infiltrated the construction of the Empire State Building and began what they called the final experiment, the creation of a new Dalek race. Inside the sewers below the Empire State Building, they set up a genetic laboratory and attempted to create new Dalek embryos. After the failure of this experiment, they tried thinking creatively as the cult was designed to. They devised a plan using Earth's greatest resource, its people. They placed Dalekanium upon the mast of the Empire State, intending to fuse the DNA of Daleks and humans using an incoming ray of gamma radiation from the sun. Dalek-Sec tested this on Mr. Diagoras, becoming a human-Dalek hybrid, now with human thoughts and emotions. As the Dalek invasion of Manhattan began, Dalek-Sec began to want the human Daleks to keep their human emotions, but the other Daleks, although bred to obey Sec, believed this was against the Dalek cause. They changed the DNA to 100% Dalek and imprisoned Dalek-Sec. He was later exterminated accidentally after the other cult members fired their gunsticks at the Doctor. As the Doctor had got in the way of the blast of gamma radiation, and so infused the DNA with some of his own, the experiments were human, Dalek, and Time Lord hybrids, causing them to rebel and kill Dalek Thay and Dalek Jast before being killed themselves. The Doctor offered to help Dalek-Caan, the last surviving Dalek in what seemed to be the entire universe, but instead of taking it, Caan used an emergency temporal shift to escape once more. Caan was eventually able to penetrate the time lock on the last Great Time War, from which he rescued Davros from his doomed command ship. This successful rescue, however, caused Caan to become insane. He came to view the Daleks negatively, and set in motion a chain of events that would destroy the new Dalek Empire. Caan, the last remaining member of the Cult of Skaro, was presumed killed when the Crucible was destroyed. And that is the story of the Cult of Skaro, Daleks designed to think, to be unique, to accelerate the Dalek race, but when their leader finally ended up doing just that, their very creed as Daleks is what ultimately destroyed them. In the end, only Sec really followed his purpose, with Caan later having this very revelation and seemingly regretting it. But anyway guys, thanks for watching. It's been a long time since I've done a video on the Daleks, as I'm honestly running out of time frames to go into. Perhaps the Dalek Great War will be next, or the Time Destructor incident. If you have any suggestions, make sure to leave them down in the comments, as many do end up becoming videos. If there's something you'd like to see covered, one niche little area or an entire species, I'll see what I can do. But, as always, thanks for watching.